Hey everybody, welcome to this week's AdvocateHub class. In this class, I wanted to give a quick overview of AdvocateAnywhere. This is what I consider to be one of Influitive's lesser used features of AdvocateHub. And part of the reason why I thought it's underutilized is that people don't really understand how it works and how easy it is to use. So I was hoping in this class we can kind of clear things up. I'll show you how it works, how easy it is to implement, and a few of the different things you can do with it. And just so you know, this is Don here. I'm one of your Influitive support magicians. If you email us at support@influitive.com, you may have talked with me. So let's get right into it. In today's class, like I said, I wanted to clear up some of the issues or confusion around AdvocateAnywhere. And so we'll begin by answering these questions. So what is AdvocateAnywhere? Why use AdvocateAnywhere? Why should I use it? How does it work? And finally, how do I implement AdvocateAnywhere? So by the end of today's class, you'll be able to answer all these questions, and hopefully you'll put it into practice. Okay, so let's start with the basics. What exactly is AdvocateAnywhere? It really is just a widget which can be placed on any web page or any web-based application, which allows advocates and non-advocates alike to complete challenges and receive recognition within your hub. So these challenges are completed outside of the hub, but they'll be recognized within your hub. And when we go through the demo later, I'll show you how exactly that works. So one of the questions in the VIP challenge for this class was, what do people use AdvocateAnywhere for? So I did some research, and I found that the biggest use of AdvocateAnywhere is using NPS surveys. The surveys in general, really, but NPS is one of the most popular types of challenges you can use to AdvocateAnywhere. And they use it for advocate acquisition. So we'll talk about that in a second. Additionally, people use it for solicitation of testimonials, as well as promotion of content such as blog posts, educational content, etc., from within their web app or within their website. So I'm going to start actually by talking about advocate acquisition, as this is one of the most useful things you can use AdvocateAnywhere for. So if you have this problem where you want to find real advocates, right? And your true advocates are not just anybody who uses your product. They are basically your NPS promoters, so people who give you high NPS rating. They're more likely to refer your product. Oops, sorry, I went too far. There you go. So your advocates are more likely to refer your product to someone else. And how can you find these people? By asking them to fill out the survey. How likely are you to refer or to recommend our product to a colleague or a friend? That is essentially the NPS survey. So if they give you a high score on NPS, they're likely a good candidate for your Advocate Hub. And if they complete this NPS survey in AdvocateAnywhere, they're automatically added into your Advocate Hub as a nominee. And we'll go through how that works later. So as far as publishing surveys goes, this is another very useful use of AdvocateAnywhere. So if you have a new feature or a new part of your website that you've just published or deployed and you want to get some feedback on it, you can easily publish a challenge to that particular part of your website or your web app. Since AdvocateAnywhere is targetable by URL, you can make a challenge that asks people to give feedback based on that particular part of your app or your website, and only have the challenge show up on that page. And once you've installed AdvocateAnywhere on all of your web pages or all of your URLs that you may want it to appear on, then you can easily deploy new surveys, updated surveys on any page that you want. Along the same lines, if you do find that you have some new tips and tricks, some new content that are relevant to a particular part of your website or part of your app, you can also link to those through complete an online action stage through AdvocateAnywhere. So I've seen this. This is one of the more popular uses. So for example, if we roll out a new feature, you can want to tell people about how to use this new feature, or if it's a particularly confusing area of your product, you can link to some support articles or some tips and tricks, or even a blog post or community post about this particular area of your website or application. And we'll talk later about how to actually target your challenges to show up in particular parts of your website. But it's very simple. And so the main part of this class was I just wanted to show you how AdvocateAnywhere works. So I'm going to actually go into sharing you my desktop, and we'll show you exactly how AdvocateAnywhere works. So this is just a blog, a random blog where I have added AdvocateAnywhere, and you can see AdvocateAnywhere is down here. By default, it is a widget which can pop up like this, but it is possible to make it static inline in your page, and I can show you how to do that later. You can customize the image that shows up here. And so let's just see how, if I was a random person or one of your customers showing up on your website or your application, completing the survey, what would it look like? So this is, as you can see, a standard NPS survey. So I'm going to give a score of 9. And it's question because I like you. It's not really important. But so here we ask the person for their email and their name. This is so that we can associate this activity with them. Now, if this person was an advocate and they were logged in, we wouldn't ask them for their name. We would automatically, based on cookies, we would associate this activity with their advocate account in your AdvocateHub. But since I'm now logged into AdvocateHub and I don't have any cookies on me, then we don't know who they are. So we just put in a name. So let's go with Donald Trump. Oh, Donald Trump. He's my advocate. Okay. So now that I have completed this, let's see what it looks like. So you can see that it went away. If there are more challenges available on this particular page, a new challenge would pop up. So now that I've completed that, where can I find this person? I can find them. They're in my nominees page. So if I was an advocate, this survey completion would have been associated with my advocate account, but since I'm not, it'll just show up here. And so given that you're looking for new advocates and you want to invite people who really love to use the product, having this NPS score here is very useful. So I really don't want to invite these 2 people since they give me low NPS scores, and they're probably not great advocates, so I can immediately archive them. So these 2 people go away. But I want to invite these 2 people because they have given me high NPS scores, and you can see the source will always show me where they came from, AdvocateAnywhere. If they happen to not put in any information, they would show up as unknown advocate. But I feel like inviting John Oliver to my hub, giving me NPS score of 9, and this goes through the standard process. So on top of that, if you happen to have any groups that use NPS targeting or any targeting based on challenge completions, then all of those people will also be segmented based on their answers in AdvocateAnywhere. So I can see I just invited John. He's in here, added the rules. Additionally, all of the people who completed this NPS challenge to AdvocateAnywhere will show up as nominees in the Nominees tab. And if I click on the person, I can also see, since this person is a nominee, they haven't joined my hub yet, but I still have a record of all of the AdvocateAnywhere challenges they have completed. So I hope that makes sense. I'll head back into my presentation here. So if you have any questions about how that works, you can ask me at the end of the class. But for now, I'll go on and tell you how easy it is to implement it. One of the other questions that came up in the VIP challenge was, how long will it take for the team that manages my website to implement it? It's actually very, very quick. All you need to do is add this small script into wherever you may want AdvocateAnywhere to show up. So I say wherever you may want it to show up, because by default, if you add this script, nothing will show up on your website. You have to specifically target your challenges to show up on whatever page you would like them to show up on. I'll show you how to do that in a second, but at Influitive, we have added this script to every page so that in the future, if there's a particular page that we do want a certain challenge to show up on, it's very easy to configure that challenge and add it in later. And you can find this all by going to your settings and the AdvocateAnywhere page within your AdvocateHub. And like I said, it's just as simple as adding this script to any web page you may want this to show up on. So once you have added that particular script to all of your pages, now you need to target the AdvocateAnywhere challenge. So actually, I'm going to go back and show you how to do that within the hub itself. So if we go to our challenges page, and just while we're here, if we want to see all of our current AdvocateAnywhere challenges, we just choose the filter under Channel, AdvocateAnywhere. So this will show me all of my AdvocateAnywhere challenges. And if I only want to see the active ones, I just choose only the published filter here. So these are all of my active AdvocateAnywhere challenges. It's very straightforward. I only have one right now. But let's say I want to change where this shows up. All I have to do is edit this challenge. And all of the targeting settings for AdvocateAnywhere are within the same targeting area where you'd normally find it in the challenge. So let's just go through these one by one. You can see this challenge is showing up in AdvocateHub. It will appear in AdvocateHub as well as AdvocateAnywhere. But if I only wanted it to appear in AdvocateAnywhere, I can just unselect AdvocateHub. And on the second part, I can specify all of the URLs that I want this challenge to show up on. And you can see, here's a little trick. If you want this challenge to show up on any page where you have that AdvocateAnywhere script embedded, then you just put the asterisk here. So this means it's a wildcard, so it'll show up anywhere I have that. But you probably don't always want that. So I'll remove that one. But I do want it to show up on my Tumblr page here. And this one will only have it show up on the first page. If I want to have this challenge show up on any other page within my website, I just do / and then put the asterisk there as well. Or if I wanted to show up in a particular section, I'll just do this. Let's say I only wanted to show up in the section where I only talk about cats. So like this, and if I remove all of these, this challenge will only show up in the subsection of cats. Or if I add if I wanted to go on a specific page, all you have to do is put the specific page just on the index page, like that. So it's fairly straightforward. Now, as far as AdvocateAnywhere is concerned, nominees means everyone in the entire world. So if I want anybody, even if they're not an advocate, if they're not logged in, if I want them to see this challenge, I have to select nominees. If I unselect nominees, only people who are logged in, when they visit my website or web app, will be able to see this challenge. Logged in as advocates, that is. But if I want the world, anybody who can access this particular page to be able to complete this challenge, I have to select nominees. So once we've done that, all I have to do is save. And it looks like someone has already gone to my Tumblr and given me an NPS score of 2. That's unfortunate, just 835. I guess I won't be inviting you. So how do you implement it? Just review, add this script to any page where you would ever consider having AdvocateAnywhere, target your challenges appropriately, select AdvocateAnywhere, and then enter the URLs where this challenge should appear, and then choose nominees if you want everyone to see it, and advocates if you only want logged in advocates to be able to see it. So really that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about. There were a few questions that I'm going to go through right now. And if you have any additional questions, feel free to ask them in the chat room right now. But while you're thinking about your questions, there were a few more that came in. And in particular, we do get this question a lot on the support desk. Does it have to be a pop-up? Can I embed AdvocateAnywhere in my website, so a static piece instead of the pop-up widget? So yes, you can. All you really have to do is modify the script a little bit. And this is all explained in this Advanced Customization Options article in our knowledge base. I will send this in the follow-up email as well as the community post. That will also be included after I publish this video, probably tomorrow. So the answer is yes. And Chris actually asked the follow-up question, is there a way we can pass email addresses to the script? So to handle the cases where users may be logged into our app and we know their contact info already. I believe that is definitely possible. I think that requires another customization to the script, and I'll have to get back to you, Chris, on exactly how to do that. But I know that we do have a couple customers who are doing exactly what you asked. So we'll get back to you as soon as I figure out how to do that for you. And so another additional question is, I have received a few times on the support desk, is AdvocateAnywhere compatible with Google Tag Manager? So if you're a marketer, you do marketing ops, you probably know what Google Tag Manager is. I don't quite understand it myself, but a few people have asked, does it work with Google Tag Manager? And I actually managed to figure out a way to make it work with Google Tag Manager and wrote this little article, which I'll also include in the follow-up email and community post. So if you need to have this work with Google Tag Manager, it is definitely possible. So I'll just go through the other questions now. Nancy asks, by selecting nominees, could a person see the challenge multiple times even after they have completed it? So theoretically, Nancy, that is possible because if they do it and then they clear their cookies or they're using incognito window, they'll be able to come back and do that challenge again. Now, if they're logged in, if they're logged in, they definitely can't do it again. But we'll remember that they did it and we won't show it to them again. So yes, that is one of the downsides, I guess, of that. But in the end, you don't really have to invite them. If you notice the person is doing the same challenge over and over again, you can just archive them. And Michelle asks, can you only associate one challenge per page in a web app? I actually didn't mention that, but note that you can definitely have as many challenges as you want show up on any particular page in your web app. It's just when they complete one challenge, the next one will pop up. And also, if there are multiple challenges, it will give them the option of going to the next challenge if they don't want to do this one. So you can definitely have more than one challenge per page. And Chris asked one more question. Can you change the mystery box icon that is shown? So yeah, the mystery box is just something I added. You can customize that picture. That's also in your AdvocateAnywhere settings within your hub. You can choose whatever icon, upload any icon that you would like in there. And in addition to that, can the user say do not show again if they do not want to be bothered by the widget? Actually, that's a great question. I think they can say, I'm going to test it out right now. I should know the answer. So if I don't want to use this, hold on 1 minute. Okay. I can't see my challenge anymore. Hold on. I think I'll get back to you on that, Chris, but I believe you can dismiss it. I just messed up my settings when I was playing around, so I can't see my challenge anymore. But I will let you know in the follow-up email about that. Okay, I do have another question here that a few people have asked. So can referral challenges be used in AdvocateAnywhere? So, and can share a link challenges be used in AdvocateAnywhere? Both of these, that's one of the restrictions of AdvocateAnywhere. These two types of challenges cannot be used. Referral challenges, all the tracking functionality and sending the leads to Salesforce or Marketo or HubSpot, none of that will work with AdvocateAnywhere. Additionally, share a link cannot work because we can need to have the social authentications connected to the advocate, and that's not possible through AdvocateAnywhere. So a couple of these are not possible. And it looks like that's all of the questions. Oh, Michael, sorry. Michael asks, how do you send the challenge to just one advocate? Through AdvocateAnywhere, that is definitely possible. It's just through the same targeting interface as any challenge. You can just choose that one advocate, but that advocate would also have to show up on the page where AdvocateAnywhere is appearing. But if they're logged in and that challenge is targeted to them, all the same targeting rules that apply to challenges within the hub are also applied to challenges in AdvocateAnywhere. It's just, like I said, they would have to be logged in order to see that challenge. So it looks like that's all of the questions. And like I said, I'll get back to you, Chris, later on two of those things. And if you have any additional questions or comments, you can email us at support@influitive.com or respond to the follow-up email that I send tomorrow, which will come with the video as well as links to those knowledge-based articles, as well as this PowerPoint presentation that I have. So if that's all the questions, thank you so much for the great questions and for listening. And I hope you have a great weekend. And see you all next class. Thank you.